Hello all, this is Jai from Salt Spring Life, and today I'm excited to visit with Larkin, the owner of Forest Heart Botanicals, and I'm curious to find out what Salt Spring Life means to him. Larkin, I'm wondering if we can start there, and if you don't mind talking about your relationship with Salt Spring Island and how life here supports the work you do at Forest Heart Botanicals.
For me, Salt Spring it's a place I've been coming for decades at this point. I used to live in Victoria and visit here, and then, the magic of Ruckle Park, camping there, and then I wound up going to herb school here.
Nice.
Yeah.
And was there a particular catalyst or life event that got you started on your herbalist journey?
Mainly the opportunity to attend herb school. There wasn't one event. I think the main event is my obsession and deep love of plants. That feels like what fueled all of this. Like, my desire behind my entire business is just to spend more time with plants, be closer to nature, learn more about nature. That's like quite a driving force in my life, and it feels like a huge part of what I'm made for and what my passion is. And so attending herb school and then getting into becoming a herbalist as my work grew out of just a love of plants.
I feel it's an innate part of this community in some ways, and many people that move to Salt Spring Island are drawn by the beautiful coastline, the forests, just that immersion in nature, and that certainly resonates with me. I'm wondering about the herbalist training that you participated in the island, and is that still available, and what would you say to people that are interested in exploring the path you've taken?
Yeah, so the school that I went to is called the Wild Seed School of Herbal Studies, which is run by Jasmine and Kevin, and it was amazing. I learned so much. I did 2 rounds of school with them, like intermediate and then advanced clinical training. I make almost all my oils and tinctures. I produce all of that, and yeah, I grow about 40%. I gather some things like hawthorn, horsetail, nettles. These are all like very locally abundant herbs. Those are things I gather, and then I think it's another 40%-ish that I buy from suppliers.
I'm wondering a little bit about the courses and trainings that you provide. Is that something that you will teach folks that connect with those trainings, is how to prepare their own?
Yeah, I've done that, definitely. I ran a salve making workshop over at the Salty Pear.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I teach medicine making, and I've recently put together a workshop on growing medicinal plants as well for people that want to grow. And yeah, there's a variety of different stuff, but definitely I can teach people about making medicine.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Are there things that people need to be mindful of when they're harvesting, preparing, creating their own medicine? Are there sort of safety protocols or harvesting protocols that you can recommend that will help support our natural environment and also the safety of the tinctures?
Yeah, that's a big question because every plant is different. But in general, my advice would be, if you're looking at harvesting something in the woods here, like as opposed to something you grew or someone else grew, I think it's really important to really think about like whose land that we're on, and to be in a reciprocal relationship around that with the people that live here, like Indigenous people from here. That needs to be foremost, and taking care of the plants, like, just really, I get a bit concerned about like the proliferation of foraging culture, because it's like I love, that's how I got into working with plants, and then my understanding has changed over the years and evolved over the years, but it's such a common thing that there's like so many more books being published about like, okay, here's how you go into the woods and forage, and it's so important for us to have that connection. You know, like I think it's really important for us as human animals to have that tangible connection. It's like it's who we are, you know. And so I don't want to discourage that in any way, but I just think it's really important to think about like the ethics of that and how we're going about it, because when we're coming from, if we're settlers, especially brought up in like white culture, we're taught to take, right? Like our whole system is so capitalist, and we're taught to go take and take and take, and it's very extractive. And if we really want to change our relationship with the earth, we don't want to just be going into the woods and replicating that in our own small ways, you know, where we just go in and, oh, I want this, I'm going to take it. And like I've done that in the past lots, and it's like that's taken years and years of learning for me to kind of evolve that understanding. And I just think it would be awesome if we could make that shift to learning like a much deeper level of respect. And I'm very much in the middle of that process. Like I'm 0% an expert about that, but that's kind of just like, I feel like I want to give that advice with that caution at the same time. Not to like freak people out or make them feel like something's coming down on them, but just like, we want these changes, right? Like we want these shifts. We want climate change to be different. And it's like, okay, how do we really bring that down into our behavior and how we interact with the earth in these ways, you know?
Absolutely. I think that's a really important reflection. I'm really excited for this conversation today because I feel there is a real growing appetite to support our health with natural remedies. And if people are interested in having a consultation with you, I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about how they access your services and what they can expect in a herbal consultation.
Yeah, definitely. So they would look online at my website, which is just forestheartbotanicals.com, and you can actually book in online into a time slot there. And so what happens is that there's an intake process where I send a form. It's quite comprehensive. It's like 7 pages long. Someone will fill that in and send it back to me. And then that's in preparation for us to meet. What I'm doing in a consultation is I'm trying to get a very in-depth look at someone's entire health picture. What you want to do is really make a formula for someone that's very specific to them, what the constitution of their body is, what medications they're on, all these different factors. So it's really taking the time together to get to know the person, and then I send back essentially a long page of written recommendations, and then the person can decide what they'd like to follow up with, and then we go from there. Normally I will blend them a custom formula, but that's not obligatory or anything. And then from there we can do follow-ups as needed. Yeah.
Perfect. Wow, that's really exciting. So people can get like a customized formula that will support them and all of the different components that they bring to your consultation.
Yeah.
And then I know you also have already created formulas that you sell via your website that maybe aren't customized to one person, but they're relevant and helpful to many.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's an anxiety blend that I call Calm My Anxiety. That's my best-selling one. And then I've got one for sleep, digestion. I've got a couple others and a bunch of different topical salves. And yeah, there's a variety of stuff there.
So that's forestheartbotanicals.com.
Yeah.
Larkin, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for inviting me and Salt Spring Life into your home to learn more about you and Forest Heart Botanicals. Really appreciate the support you're providing to the community through your herbal medicine. Thank you.
Thank you.